So foundations of making wealth. Let's hit that quickly. We alluded to that in our last two shows. The first step, before we even hit the real debt roll-up issue, it's making sure that we have the foundation. We go stepwise as to what we are going to do to make us overcome poverty. And we discussed this protection. The protection comes under life insurance and health insurance, long-term care insurance, all those things that come together to protect you, that basically form the basis. If you don't have anything that protects you and you start building wealth other ways, you can lose everything. So basically, like building a house, you got to start from the foundation. Right. So the foundation of making and creating wealth starts with protection. And protection encompasses life insurance, it encompasses long-term care insurance. And with the life insurance, we hammered a little bit on the index universal life insurance for the reason that it is a potential tool for financial growth and wealth creation. And so, that being said, all forms of life insurance will take care of protection, except if it is temporary insurance, which is term insurance. Those may not be enough because at some point they end. So if you're watching the show and you have term insurance, I'm here to tell you that you have something. I'm not going to describe you have something, but it is not the end all be all when it comes to protection. If you want protection, we should graduate from term to whole life or index life, which takes care of your entire life and with sometimes with benefits financially as far as cash accumulation is concerned. So that was protection. We hammered a lot on that. I don't know if you want to add anything before we go to
and
the
with
next.
The protection, I think we also talked about the health insurance. That there is no way that you are going to live your life without health insurance. And we talked about where you can get your health insurance. And if you have a job, you make sure that you sign up for health insurance. That is protection. And through that, you can build up wealth using HSA, the Health Savings Account.
The next one on our list of things that we have to do to make sure that we are on the right track is debt elimination. Debt elimination. So after you have protected yourself with health insurance, long-term care insurance, life insurance, and all those kinds of things that can protect you in terms of if something happens now, you'll be taken care of, whether it is, being able to get care from long-term care insurance, or if you pass away, God forbid, your family, your asset, everything being taken care of. Those are the protections. After you have taken care of all those, which we believe that's the first, is the foundation. The next one is debt elimination. And that is where we are. All right. So what is debt elimination then? Debt elimination, as it sounds, is literally eliminating debt. Completely. Not halfway. Getting rid of debt completely. That is it.
I think with the debt elimination, can you think of the Bible talking about somebody, if you owe, Bible that talk about like if you owe, you are
you are basically like a slave to the person,
to the owner
who you owe to. So you want to definitely take care of debt. Some people say that we should keep debt because debt is good.
Right.
We probably will have a show and see how and when debt may be useful. But for now, if you are watching, listen, there is no thing as better as you having cash and doing things yourself, not owing anyone, at least for now. That's where we are going at.
But the funny thing is, if you're in US, all that you keep hearing is like you have to get into debt because everybody owe. So it's good to get a credit card and use the credit card in order to build your credit. So you can, somebody will argue that, what do you mean I should eliminate my debt completely? Because if I eliminate my debt, I'm not going to have credit. So in case I want to buy a house, I want to buy a car, how am I going to get that credit to buy it?
I disagree. You can have credit without owing anybody. If you have a credit card with a capacity to use or spend 20,000 and you haven't used it, or maybe you have used 500, you have credit. And when they check your credit, they see, oh my goodness, this guy has credit, but he has enough money that he's not even dependent on his credit. That is what credit is. It doesn't mean you should use the credit and be so strained that your life becomes miserable. That is where we are going. So yes, debt if you use it well, can be helpful. But like I say, we'll probably have another show and talk about how to use debt, as leverage. Yeah, so debt may be good to some extent if you are able to manage it well. But for those of us who are starting to create wealth right from the get-go, we shouldn't, think like those people who are already made it and leveraging debt, because we want to make sure we have free money in our hands to be able to have purchasing power, as we talked about last time, and do the things that we want to do. All right. So after debt elimination, the next thing is setting up emergency fund. Now, the studies have shown a lot of households in the United States have no emergency funds. And it comes down to a lot of people, professionals, not just, people who are working class. I'm talking about professionals, because it is not easy to keep that. Expenses are always up there. But once we go through debt elimination, we'll be able to set up the emergency fund. So the protection is your number one, because if something happens, you can't work. And if you can't work, your income has ceased. And not only will it cease, you may need money to take care of you when you can't work. And so definitely protection is number one. And then the debt elimination. Then we go to emergency fund, and then investments.
So with the emergency fund, I think they are saying that it's good to have up to 6 months?
3 to 6
And
months.
after COVID, they are even suggesting 1 year emergency fund. So after eliminating the debts, you have to put aside 6 months emergency fund, meaning that you have enough to take care of the basics bills that come, up to 6 months, which is a lot of money.
Yes.
So we have to take note of that too. It's very important.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. So that is that. So that takes us to investments. Now, investments is when everybody you talk to says real estate. And I do agree, real estate is good. If you know what you're doing, real estate is good. Most people, I want to go in real estate, I want to invest. And if you ask them, it's real estate. Very good. But before you do real estate, before you invest, whatever business it is, you must make sure that your debt is under control. You don't owe the bank huge money and then you go and invest. So unless you know that for a certainty your investment is going to be, you're going to get the money that you're putting in. But why would you put in money to start a business when you are owing somebody? If you owe somebody, you don't basically eat delicacies. If you are owing the bank in huge sums of credit card, whatever it is you are owing, and then you are using the money, cash that you have, acquired through hard work to go and invest again. What if you lose that money? Your debt will still be waiting for you and growing. So you don't do that. You make sure that you clear your debt. And then once the debt is cleared, the free money you got, you throw that into the investments, So that is the good thing that we need to know. Most people start from here. The little money they get, they still have student loans, huge student loans. And yet once they start work, they save and they put money, I'm going to real estate. Well, you are investing money, but you are going into real estate. Good, you may win. Granted, student loan interest may be not too big, So sometimes it makes a little sense. But for other credit cards, for bank loans that are high interest rates, you don't bring your money to invest, especially when a debt like 7%, 10%, 12%, and when it comes to credit card, 18%, 20%, 28%, when that debt is growing at such an alarming interest rate. And then you throw money into investing. Put that money to take care of the debt. Once the interest is taken care of, that is more business. You are getting more returns for not paying those interests, right? Than to start another business, which you may not even break even. Or even if you break even, you may not even get 10% returns. Meanwhile, your credit card is growing at 19%.
Wow.
So what's the point? And so that is the thing that we need to know right here. My goodness. That is it. So we got to make sure that we do things.
So
right
indirectly, we are not building our wealth from top to bottom, but
Yes.
we are building from bottom to top.
It's got to be from bottom.
Because if we do it from the top, the probability of that crashing is very huge because the foundation is not strong. So you, like you were saying, if the interest rate on your debt is so high and you've invested in something that the return interest is not equal or less than what you owe, indirectly you are mounting up debts. Why don't you use the money to get rid of the debt so that the returns, the interest rates will be used towards your investment?
Definitely.
Which is very good.
Definitely.